I thought that I am coming to a youth parliament and the youngsters would like to know why should they have a youth parliament? Let the parliament do its work and let the youngsters, the youth, do their work. I was listening to the three young speakers, and I also was listening to all our esteemed speakers here. I wish and I hope that all these youngsters present here take the right message back, dwell on it, think about what you are listening, and take an informed decision. Don't just take audible absorption. I'm using this word very, very specifically because I love to be with youngsters. I love to be with students. And students means not necessarily who are taking a college education. Anyone who wants to learn, anyone who wants to know something about knowledge and get knowledge is a student. So if I go and give a speech to rural women in one of the districts of Gujarat, by the way, હું ગુજરાતી છું અને ફક્ત ને ફક્ત ગુજરાતીમાં લીગલ અવેરનેસ કરું છું છેલ્લા 25 વર્ષથી. ફક્ત મહિલાઓ જોડે અને જે વિદ્યાર્થીઓને આગળ ભણવાની તક નથી મળતી એમની જોડે હું વાતચીત કરીને આગળ કેવી રીતે ભણી શકે અને પોતાની રીતે સશક્ત થઈ શકે એ અંગેની અવેરનેસ સ્પ્રેડ કરું છું છેલ્લા 25 વર્ષથી એઝ અ લોયર એન્ડ અ સોશિયલ એક્ટિવિસ્ટ અને 24 કલાક ફૂલ ટાઈમ લોયર છું અહીંયા ગુજરાત હાઈકોર્ટમાં. મેં સુપ્રીમ કોર્ટમાં જવાનું ના વિચાર્યું કારણ કે મને ફક્ત ને ફક્ત આ રાજ્યની મહિલાઓ અને બાળકો જોડે કામ કરવું હતું. એટલે વાત જ્યારે when I talk about a youth parliament today, I was given two topics. One is farm laws and one is CAA. The speakers ahead of me have spoken elaborately on both these acts. And in the morning when we came, I was hearing our senior parliamentarian and Honorable Rupalaji. He is also an inspiration. And I remember when I spoke for the first time in the parliament, he was the first person to congratulate me on making a speech. And that is his magnanimity. That is what seniors do to juniors. They encourage them and they inspire them. So he was saying that the farm laws have been already repealed. What should we speak on that? And he was so right. But in 2 minutes, I will tell you why such a debate on farm laws. The 3 farm laws were brought by an ordinance. And when post-pandemic, we had the most unprecedented, unusual, unexpected lockdown in the country post-corona. And from March 25th, 2020 to 31st May 2020, we had a lockdown period. And 6 days after that, an ordinance was passed that we should bring the 3 farm laws. And the farm laws came by way of an ordinance and they had to be tabled before the parliament. My young friends should know that whenever there is an ordinance is passed when there are situations where you need in an emergency time, there is not a session of the parliament. So an ordinance is passed by the cabinet and it goes before the president, honorable president. So it was brought before the parliament. It was passed in the Lok Sabha and thereafter in the Rajya Sabha. But the important highlight of these farm laws, they were never sent to a select committee or a standing committee. There are committees, standing committees in the parliament. They are department related. And whenever some law of this kind is brought, they are sent to these committees. And what do these committees do? These committees called stakeholders. They are farmers. They are people who are affected by this law. There are experts. There are reports presented, as one of these speakers talked about the Swaminathan report. These reports are also put before these committees. They take into consideration all the factors and give a proper deliberation on this particular law. And these reports also come before and then the law is amended and brought in the parliament. And when everyone discusses, debates, deliberates, it becomes a law. When these three farm laws were brought, everyone wanted to speak because members of parliament are representatives of a particular constituency. When some person goes from Kerala, he takes the issues of Kerala to the parliament. When I go to the parliament from Gujarat, I take the issues of Gujarat. I talk about the social indicators, the dropout rate of girls in Gujarat, what is the domestic violence in Gujarat. I take these issues in the parliament. So when representatives take these issues to the parliament from their constituency, they would like to know how this law is going to affect the people in their constituency. So the farmers' representatives were not heard. The laws were shoved on them and bulldozed. No party was heard. We went on shouting. The parties went on shouting, please listen to us. We want to speak on behalf of the farmers, on behalf of the stakeholders. Please send it to the committee. Please bring a law which is foolproof, which is affecting and helping people and not affecting people. But it was not done. And that is how the three laws were passed. In a rush, and I will give you the dates. The ordinance was passed promulgated on 5th of June 2020. It was tabled in the Lok Sabha on 17/9, that is September 2020, and it was passed. In the Rajya Sabha, it was passed on 20th September, just 3 days after that. And the Honorable President gave assent on 24th September. And after a year and 2 months, it has come to be repealed by our Honorable Prime Minister on the media, coming on the television, that we are repealing, we are taking back the three farm laws. The issue is that Parliament is meant for discussing, deliberating, and debating. You hear the voice of everyone. I would request all my friends here, please listen or please take your seat. Let this be a parliament. So the issue is that when we cannot discuss and deliberate on a law that is affecting the people of this country, the agriculturists of this country, the farmers of this country, I think these laws needed to be taken very seriously, and that is why the most affected party, the farmers, they don't rely and talk to political people. They also have their own mind. They went through the laws. They came to know that these laws are causing us problems. These laws are practically bringing in traders. These laws are making some kind of a contract farming. And these laws are going to affect us. We will be landless. We will be shoved into legal arenas where you cannot go to the courts, but you have to go to the collector, you have to go to the talatis, and that is where I think the farmers wanted to be heard. And so they sat on dharnas. Those who wanted to take the cause of the farmers, they said, we support the farmers. We understand their pain. And so they supported the farmers. But the farmers came on their own. They took up their cause. They wanted to be heard. And that is why the government had to have meetings with them again and again and talk to them. But well, it finally turned out that the farmers, one, they want themselves to be heard. Today also they say that we will not go back. We want to be heard on our MSP issues. We want to be heard on our issues. So today's youth parliament, I would request all these youngsters here, you do follow your dreams. You do look at all what is happening on social media. But I think you should not forget that we are all in a country where we have the Constitution of India. Everyone is equal before law and everyone believes in equality. Today, when we talk about the farm laws, the Honorable Supreme Court stayed the implementation of the laws as way back as in January 2020. So let us think why we talk about parliaments, why the youngsters of this country need to know what is parliament and you are convening a youth parliament. We should not forget that we have in our country state women commissions, national women commissions, we have state human rights commission, we have national human rights commission. All these points to the fact that we are all bound by the constitution of this country, which believes in article 14, equality before law. We are all equal. I often find that when it comes to talking about this great country, I think as you youngsters, you should ask your parents and grandparents, did they have the word hatred, rape, balatkar, dushkarm in their vocabulary? Did you hear them? Can you ask your parents? Did they live in a country where this was the routine language? Are we not here to ask the fourth pillar of democracy, the media? Are we not responsible to teach our youngsters, our children, that our vocabulary should be the one which our parents had, which our grandparents had? We are staying in a country which only believes in love, which only believes in humanity, which only believes in brotherhood and sisterhood. And that is why when we talk about even politics, politics is you have a difference of opinion. You discuss, you argue, you oppose, you even fight to a certain extent. But yes, Parliament is meant for discussions, debating, and deliberation. Let's not forget that. And as youngsters, I would request all of you to try to take back home when you are here for 2 days. What percentage of the speeches you hear will talk about how your education should be? When will you become doctors and when will you become scientists and when will you contribute as educationists to the system of this country? You please take into consideration what is being told to you, what you need to take back home, what you need to sit and dwell back on home, at home. That, well, you are here to get knowledge. Knowledge comes with education. And you are the blessed ones. You are the lucky ones that you are able to come to these educational institutions. There are children who cannot get into school. Yesterday, I had a delegation of children who had survived trafficking. They were trafficked by some criminals and they were taken as children who were trafficked for labor, sexual exploitation, and for all kinds of flesh trade. They were rescued by some people and they had come to see me and they wanted me to take up this issue. Okay, madam, we want parliamentarians to take up the issue of children protection, children who should get protection. So these are the issues we expect parliamentarians to discuss. I would request my young friends here, use this knowledge you have got in this wonderful educational institution to sit back and dwell between right and wrong, think about your country, how you will be able to be helpful as a citizen to this country, think about your rights, but at the same time, think about your fundamental duties, which are also in the Constitution of India. I thank the organizers for having invited me here. Rutwij bhai, thank you so much. And all the students here for listening to me patiently, thank you so much. I wish you all the best, all the luck, and a very, very bright and a very balanced future. Thank you so much.